Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is one of the treasured games of our past, and a remake was coming out for many different platforms, with DLCs coming to the Switch. But it seems something is going on. Sony has removed versions of the trailers from YouTube, stating licensing issues, but this path leads down to some more questions because it seems the DLCs are being cancelled and replaced for free games, and people are upset. Something strange is happening here. Knights of the Old Republic Remake is slowly being expunged from the internet. Before we get into full details here, like, share, subscribe this video. If you are a Star Wars fan or a fan of the Knights of the Old Republic, then this video is going to be something of high interest for you. If you know someone, just share it to them. Send it their way. Sony is blaming a licensing issue over them removing them. Now, this is being removed for YouTube, but there's a little bit more going on here, because if Sony is now running into more licensing issues, which we saw this back a long time ago, when was this, 2022? We saw this last year where Sony removed movies over licensing issues. This is an ongoing deal with Sony. It seems that their licensing deals are temporary, but in particular with Knights of the Old Republic, it seems there's something a little bit more going on it. So they delisted it trailer due to a licensing or the music expiring, but as I look into this, I see more, because there's apparently a class action lawsuit now for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 DLC, which was for the Switch. So Aspyr, which is the makers of the remake in this sense, it seems that there's something going on, and things behind the scenes are creating nothing but a torment of worries. So fans notice from the PlayStation Twitter account, the game from 2021 had been deleted, while the title's reveal trailer has also been made private. This, in combination with the press report that the title's alleged troubled development, led to speculation that the game could be the last or the latest casualty of a restructuring efforts by Aspyr parents company, which is owned by Embracer Group. Embracer Group recently is going through a torment of things on the video game market, in the Rings of Power market. Everything to do with Star Wars and Lord of the Rings in this case. They own a lot of stake in a lot of things, but they don't seem to be making up for it ultimately. The only thing that's making Embracer Group money right now is the Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings set, and they've gone full tilt into it, making it an evergreen set. It's such a weird concept in that sense. But Aspyr, back to the whole lawsuit deal. The lawsuit alleges Aspyr Media and Saber Interactive misled customers by selling Knights of the Old Republic 2 with the promise of its now canceled restored content DLC. A class action lawsuit related to the Knights of the Old Republic 2 on the Nintendo Switch has surfaced, with plaintiffs seeking restitution and damages for what the lawsuit claims were illegal marketing and advertisements used by developer Aspyr Media and its parent company Saber Interactive. As spotted by The Gamer, the lawsuit was originally filed on July 8 in the state of California on behalf of the plaintiffs Maliki Lions and other customers in the state who felt that they had been deceived by Aspyr's following their purchase of Knights of the Old Republic 2 on the Switch. Now, here's the thing. If there's a video game that really gets you to buy a console, Knights of the Old Republic is one of those games where people are going to look at that and make their decision on which console they're going to buy. And in this case, people bought the Switch. They went and bought the Switch saying this old game is coming to the Switch, it's going to be good, and continue going on. Aspyr's port of Knights of the Old Republic 2 for the Nintendo Switch released last year and initially promised restored content DLC for the original Xbox era RPG developed by Obsidian Entertainment was coming soon. According to the lawsuit, when asked for the DLC would arrive by fans on Twitter, Aspyr in the summer of 2022 stated the DLC would release in Q3 of 2022. We are in 2023 Q3 now. We're a year later. What turned out to be not the case, earlier this year, Aspyr's canceled plans for the DLC, instead gave KOTOR 2 players on the Switch the option to select a free Star Wars game from a list of titles. So you had Star Wars Republic Commando or Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed has been reprinted to death. It's not even worth the DLC at this point. That's kind of a slap in the face. You buy a game, you buy a console for that game that's going to be re-released, come out on there, do something great, and then you're like, oh, we're getting this amazing DLC. Okay, let's just throw everything at that, and we will sit and wait. But now it's been canceled. Now things are being canceled. On top of Sony removing stuff off the internet. So I'm guessing there's details more so in those trailers that are possibly misleading. So there's a lot more here. They're saying it's being removed for a music licensing issue. So is the music gone? What's going on here behind the scenes? There is something big happening here behind the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, as it's being systematically scrubbed from the internet. Sony has blamed the licensing, describing steps as normal. As part of normal business, we delist assets with licensed music when the license expires. So if you own this on any other console, you may even lose access to this, because we saw that with movies. They removed movies off the PlayStation Store that you had purchased. They just outright deleted them off your accounts. There's something stranger. So the original story, Embracer and Sony seem to be slowly removing traces of it. It's certainly a tremendous journey for the remake. After numerously, Aspyr and Sony have officially revealed that remake of Knights of the Old Republic was in development back in 2021. At this time, it was announced that Star Wars game was being remade from the ground up. Since then, news on the remake has been less optimistic. In May 2022, Aspyr's parent company, Embracer, announced that Evil Dead developer Saber Interactive had joined up with Aspyr to work on the remake. Then in July, it reported that the Knights of the Old Republic remake was in serious trouble and delayed indefinitely. So there is something going on here. This is obviously breaking news, because it's continuing to go down that path, and then lawsuits are already starting to be filed over KOTOR 2, so I wouldn't be surprised to see more on this case, because the courts are not going to see this as lightly. Thanks for watching. I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix Cinder Shadow. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.